Hello and welcome to Module 4. Module 4 may feel like one of those episodes from Season 7 of Game of Thrones, a bit of a series filler where, although not much happens, it is still absolutely critical to the overall plot. We've covered some heavy topics over the last few modules. We've covered the importance of formal requirements as the communication language on engineering endeavors. We've established a working definition for the term requirements, which includes handling requirements as individual design elements. And in the last module, Module 3, we explained how important it is for us to capture the rationale alongside each requirement. Does any of that sound unfamiliar or new? Then you probably still need to watch Modules 1 through 3. You will want to cover those modules first before continuing with this module. As part of our recap of Module 3, let's remind ourselves what the rationale is and is not with a quick quiz question. How could this requirement be improved? In the absence of the context of the requirement and in the absence of a rationale, it's difficult to decipher. We constructed this rationale to help demystify the requirement. In the rationale, we provide more context for the term outdoors to avoid any misunderstandings. And we establish why we need IP55 ingress protection. The rationale is so important even for requirements that on first inspection look okay. Now that we've finished our Module 3 recap, on to Module 4, the digital requirement. We know what you were thinking. Requirements 101 is jumping on the digital bandwagon. Slap digital on anything these days and people will not only listen to you for longer than 30 seconds, but they might even throw substantial sums of money at you, right? Possibly. But what we are going to cover in Module 4 is nothing revolutionary. It has been around for a couple of decades, but still very relevant to our requirements improvement journey. If you picked up a Basis for Design document, BFD, from 1995 and compared it to one produced 20 years later, other than noticing that the more recent document is substantially bigger, the look and feel of the two documents would be almost identical. An amazingly consistent product, you could argue. But in the case of requirements, is old really gold? How has the world changed over the same period? The world around us has changed considerably over the last 20 to 25 years, and yet where it concerns requirements in the world of oil and gas, practically nothing has changed other than the ability to download a document from our computers. We find this fairly unsatisfying, given what we have witnessed in the world around us and the digital communications revolution. There comes that word again, communication. 20 years ago, in other industrial sectors, organizations were starting to move their requirements from documents to tools specifically designed to help manage the increasing complexity of their projects and to unlock additional value from their requirements and additional value from their engineering processes. This is a step that we in oil and gas majors are taking now almost 20 years later. Other organizations are certainly not standing still, and many are currently moving from textual requirements to model-based requirements for even more seamless digital integration between requirements and simulation and engineering models. But why make this transition? See, Microsoft Word is great for writing reports and documents, but is a very limiting medium for communicating requirements. When we capture a requirement in Word, in nearly all cases, we are recording a one-dimensional view of this need or constraint or functionality. But what is the rationale, the relative priority? Who authored it? Who is responsible for executing it? How is it linked to the higher-level project objectives? What happens if we change this requirement? This is all potentially useful information at the individual requirement level. We cannot easily capture and use effectively when constrained by the document. All these things we just mentioned, like rationale, priority, owner, and status, are attributes that can be assigned to the requirement statement itself, and the combination of the requirement statement and its set of coupled attributes is what is referred to as the requirement expression. So the requirement expression consists of not just the requirement statement, but also a set of accompanying attributes. For now, the key takeaway from Module 4 is the realization that the requirement expression consists of the requirement statement plus additional information captured in one or more attributes. Capturing and managing requirements expressions is difficult in Word. However, the absolute minimum we need to capture is the requirement statement plus its rationale. But as other companies have been doing over the last 20 years, we need to start digitizing our requirements by working in tools specifically designed for capturing and managing the requirements of complex projects. Great things lie ahead of us. It's not just the next great series on Netflix that we have to look forward to.